Is everybody in, Skylar? You're muted.
Everybody's in, but we still have 2 people connecting to audio. So I'll let you know when it looks like they're fully connected.
Just a reminder to the public to please mute yourself until the public comment time.
Okay, Madam President, it looks like everybody is in and ready to go, to me at least.
Okay. I call this meeting to order. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Declaration of potential conflict of interest. Celeste?
No conflict?
Mike? Mike, you're muted.
No conflict. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Erica?
No conflict.
Sue?
No conflict.
No conflict for myself. Gonna jump right into recognition of this month's SEPRD Employee of the Month, Chris Duffy. Chris Duffy is our Employee of the Month for March. Chris coordinates our meals program, including meal distribution through Meals on Wheels. Our meal site coordinator, Chris Duffy, is one of the most dynamic employees SEPRD has seen in many years. Chris is a compassionate individual who cares deeply about his clients, his volunteers, and his coworkers. He is a self-starter who needs little, if any, direction to get the job done, and the product is always 100%, said Darren Gooch. When everything else shut down last year due to COVID-19, Chris didn't miss a beat in getting the program reorganized according to Northwest Senior and Disability Services updated drive-up cafe format. Meals continued to be delivered and our seniors never went to bed hungry thanks to Chris's efforts. We look forward to having Chris as part of our SEPRD team for many, many years to come. Thank you so much, Chris, for all that you do for the district and our community. Approval of boards, February 23rd, a chance to read the meeting minutes?
And Catherine,
Yes.
before we jump into the meeting minutes, I had a couple, I had a request I'd like to move to make some amendments to the agenda. Is now the time to do that, or would you prefer to do it after the minutes?
No, go right ahead.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to include 3 different items. The first item is I'd like to make sure that we provide space for public comment specific to the supplemental budget.
Okay.
Second item, do you want me to move each item separately?
No, I think
Okay.
we can do all 3. Yeah.
Okay, the second item that I'd like to propose is an addition for a 3-minute session to talk about a community engagement boards for the SRC. And the third item is another 3-minute time slot to talk about board communications regarding the SRC.
I think we can stick those under new business. Do we have a second to the motion to amend the agenda?
A second.
All in favor, Celeste,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Erica,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
and I for me. All right, thank you, Celeste. So moving on to approval of board meeting minutes for February 23rd and the board workshop for March 9th. Did we have any discussion around those items, or has everybody had a chance to look them over?
I have looked them over, and the February minutes look in order. And I would move that we approve the minutes for the board meeting of February the 23rd at this time.
Do we have a second?
Actually, I have a question. Skylar, did you change the spelling?
Yeah, the spelling of Dr. Cockcroft's name is missing a C in the February 23rd meeting minutes. So in the official record, it'll be have the accurate spelling of his last name. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Okay.
Do we have a second for the approval of the February 23rd minutes with the adjustment of the C in Dr. Cockcroft's name?
I second that we,
You motion, Mike. We need a second.
A second.
Who seconded?
Sue.
Sue, thanks, Sue. All in favor signify by aye, and opposed nay.
Aye.
Celeste,
Aye.
Mike,
aye.
Erica,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
aye for me. Do we have a motion for the board workshop from March 9th?
I had a question about spelling. Perhaps it's grammatical. Toward the bottom of the minutes, under board comment, under Director Coddington's comments, is a phrase that her goal of looking into positivity in the future, to the future. So I guess she means to say she's looking positively to the future. But anyway, that caught my eye.
I had the same question.
There you go.
I'm sure she said it correctly. I probably just didn't write it correctly. So my apologies.
Yeah, it's a typo, I guess.
So Sue, what would you like that line to say?
Well, would it be looking positively toward the future?
Perfect. So do we have a motion to approve the March 9th workshop minutes with the adjustment of that line?
I move we had approved the minutes as amended by Sue Coddington.
Do we have a second?
Do I second? I mean, is it okay?
Yeah, absolutely, Sue.
Okay.
All in favor signify by aye, opposed nay. Celeste,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Erica,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
aye. Motion carries. Moving on to public comments. Skylar?
Okay, so in advance of the public comment period, the Board of Directors wishes to extend a thank you to citizens who participate in providing feedback to the district. It is an important goal of SEPRD's public meetings to encourage discourse and engagement from our communities. It is important we hear the voices and concerns of citizens in order to best serve them. However, it is also imperative we maintain a respectful and productive environment that allows all voices to be heard. Each speaker will be allocated 3 minutes to speak. The only speaker that I know of that has asked to have public comment is John Huesman. I suspect there might be some others. So if there are others that would like to offer public comment, please raise your hand or unmute yourself either now or at the appropriate time when it could be your turn. But I would prefer to have a list. That makes it a little easier for coordinating.
Al Hernandez.
Al Hernandez, thanks, Al. Any other individuals that would like to offer public comment? Okay, Madam President, you just have John, and then Al, if you give me a second, I will share my screen with the timer for the speaker's convenience.
I think can everyone hear me?
Hold on, John. Skylar is gonna bring up a timer. Oh. There we go. All right, go ahead, John.
I have just a few things that I wanted to talk about this week. I have to ask, why do you keep having your meetings at 5:15? You seem to continue to proclaim your transparency, but you do everything that you can to keep the citizens, the taxpayers that you work for, from being able to attend your meetings by having them at 5:15. Just about every family that I know of, they're feeding their kids at that hour. If you want to serve those people, why don't you have your meetings at 7 instead? You know, I missed last month's meeting, and I was fascinated to learn that you've hired the Klosh Group to tell you what to do with Broadway Middle School. I thought you'd have that all figured out before you made the purchase. I have to ask the question, wouldn't it have made much more sense if before the purchase, you'd ask the Klosh Group if it would be wise and appropriate for SEPRD to purchase BMS to begin with? You put them in the position of, well, you're simply paying them to help justify your decision to buy BMS. And I think it was just done, as they used to say, bass backwards. A third thought I've had is about your decision to move childcare into Broadway Middle School. Now, if I understand it correctly, that's the only thing that's going on in Broadway Middle School right now is going to be childcare. So you're paying insurance, you're paying utilities every month, just so you can have that over there. How much is that increasing the cost of childcare for Sunset Empire by having it over there? Utilities and insurance are already paid for in the main building. Moving it over there means those costs tacked on directly to the cost of childcare. You're making it much more expensive for the district. I just think given the presence of asbestos, black mold, and lead paint, there's a whole lot healthier places that we could be putting the children of this district. And I would venture to guess you're putting them in danger by putting them over there rather than keeping them in the Sunset Pool building. That's all I have for this week.
Thank you, John.
The next person is Al Hernandez.
Hello. I'd like to make a couple of comments. One, at the last meeting, I made the comment that the January financials were, I'd say, lacking information. So I posed 3 questions. And one was about the $215,000 flex lease that was existing up through December. And my question was, why hadn't it been removed earlier? So my question was, it was misleading and wrong to have it on the financials for about a year and a half. The other question was retained earnings. Why did it move so much? And I got answers, but the answers really weren't answers. It was just something that was thrown at me. And the other thing that I was really curious about is, I saw the audit report, which the board took in and I'll say accepted, but there was no actual P&L or balance sheet shown. It was just the opinion page. And without the actual, at least basic P&L and balance sheet, it doesn't really mean anything because I can't compare it to what the June 2020 financials showed for management reports. One thing I'd be really curious about, if somebody from the board can ask, how many journal entries did the auditors suggest that the district record? So those are a couple of things that occurred to me that looked kind of odd in the January financials. Looking at the February financials, something else jumps out at me. I see the $50,000 escrow deposit still on the books. If I remember correctly, I thought that $50,000 escrow deposit was for the purchase of the middle school. And since you closed escrow, wouldn't that have gone away already? I understand you got the journal entries from whomever gave you the journal entries to record the purchase, yet the $50,000 is still there. So where does it go? Is it going to get cleared? How is it recorded? I don't know. And maybe staff can point that out. The other question I kind of had was, I see the note payable of $2.5 million was recorded. The purchase of the middle school was about 2.2 million, leaving $300,000 in extra funds. So I assume that that is what I saw in the supplemental budget that was presented and will be discussed later on today. And I also am right now assuming that I will have maybe 3 more minutes to talk about the supplemental budget when that subject does come up. So I'll leave my questions regarding supplemental budget until that point. The other thing I wanted to mention here was this. I think that I saw on the employee manual that they're proposing an additional holiday on June for Black Emancipation period. My question would be this: wouldn't it be better to call it a floating holiday, whereby people could take it whenever they wanted, either a religious holiday, a personal holiday, or something, as opposed to a specific date, since it is not a federally recognized holiday at the moment. So something to consider. But I would like it if somebody could pose a question: how many journal entries were prepared by the auditors for the June 2020 financial statements? Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe that's the end of public comment, unless there are other individuals that did not speak up earlier. Okay, back to you, Madam President.
All right, moving on. Correspondence. I didn't see any additional correspondence in the packet. Did we receive anything else, Skylar?
No.
Okay. Review financials. Has everybody had a chance to look over January and February's financials?
Yes.
Any questions?
I looked over the January financials. I noticed that there was the check register for January was missing from my packet, so I looked it up on last month's agenda and have looked all of that over. I do not have any significant questions about the current financials. I can see that the park fund is ready to be cleared out. I see that we're ready to add a supplemental budget for the SRC. I'm hoping that our budget process will get us up to speed with some of the intangibles so far, like insurance and so on. I don't really have any significant questions about the financials at this time.
All right, thanks, Mike. Anybody else have any questions about the financials?
Yeah, so I had some, and I'm just trying to reorient myself. I had some questions about the financials, and I'm not sure if, and I'm checking to see if the cover page got updated in the packet or not, but it looked like there maybe were some challenges with the cover page not reflecting what some of the
summary, you mean?
the summary page to the front, right? The summary page to the front for both, for actually, I think it's mostly for February, not matching the ledgers for each of the individual accounts. And so I'm wondering if staff could.
It has been updated. I have an updated version on my screen. I'm happy to share my screen if the board would like, or I can send it out to you electronically.
I think a screen share would be great, Skylar. Thank you.
Okay. Everyone see that? Yeah, we're okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let me know if you wanted me to scroll or zoom, or I'll just try to hold it still for now.
So I'm not sure if we can go back and forth on this, but the January cover sheet shows on the Sunset Recreation Fund a $324,570 of revenue.
Correct. I can't go back and forth. I can pull that up if you give me a couple minutes, but I'm looking at it on my hard copy, and yes, that's correct.
But so then we go down to $53 in February? Is that right?
Yeah, Marcus, are you there? You want to respond to Celeste's query?
I noticed that $53 too. I was gonna wait till the supplemental budget.
I think she's talking about this area right here where my,
Right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that 53 on a different sheet. But this is a summary sheet.
And I went in and asked about it. I know Marcus is here.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't unmute. Sorry about that. So that number has subsequently been corrected. There was, when that was pointed out, it became apparent that there was an error in a correction that we were making to enter all the debt. So on the balance sheet, you'll see the $2.5 million liability. And when we were putting that in, there was an incorrect entry made that resulted in the 324,000 and some change not being added to as a deposit. And that is the additional amount beyond the loan that was received. So the actual Sunset Recreation Fund revenue is 324,570.
And is that, so what month does that go in? Because it's showing up on January, Marcus, it would, but I think that the actual,
It should be, it occurred in January and it should have been in February. But that, like I said, when we were making a correction to ensure that the debt liability was on our books, there was an incorrect entry made that resulted in that not being factored in. So we've subsequently made the alteration, and I have sent over, I believe, the updated one to Skylar of the, I did not. I will send Skylar the updated one right now. I added the wrong attachment, it looks like.
okay,
okay.
So the figure for January under Sunset Recreation Center Fund is correct at 324,570. And the one that's going to be changed is the February one.
Which will read 324,623.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion for the financials for January or February?
No, I'm glad we talked about that. I had a question mark beside that $53 on the page 9 of our packet for the SRC.
The only other thing is, could you just, so February, I'm noticing that maintenance has been split out to a separate line item.
Correct.
Could you just give us a quick recap about that?
Yes, so we, as part of a shift in the organization and as we try to better understand cost of recovery for programming, we have made a move to have maintenance as a separate department. One, to show the investment that the district takes in maintaining our assets, such as the pool and our buildings. In addition, that it gives us a better understanding of what the actual financial implication is for programming costs.
Mhm. And so I think, and maybe this will come in that email, Marcus, it looks like the cover page on January. Sorry. That the cover page on January maybe didn't get updated for aquatic. No, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. I see. I think the line item on aquatic for February actually needs to be updated on the cover sheet.
You are correct. And in the one that I just sent over to Skylar and he can share with everybody, that has been updated to show the correct amounts.
Yeah.
And that
Okay.
corresponds with the following pages that are in the packet.
Got it. So it's just the cover sheet that has some,
Correct.
right, okay. Great. That's all my questions.
Thanks, Celeste. Anyone
Catherine,
else
can-
have any questions?
No, I was just gonna say though, can we approve at this time or do we need to have like the physical updates?
I would think that we can approve with this cover sheet. The updates to this cover
Okay.
sheet.
Okay. With these amendments that are here,
Right.
okay.
And is it possible to get for me to get a paper copy of that to add to these packets, please? Skylar?
Yeah, do you want January and February or just February?
I think January's fine,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
I would actually propose. Oh, maybe not. Maybe January is fine. I think you're right.
The errors were in the February.
February, yeah, carrying over to February. And could you recirculate that to all of us?
Yeah.
I'd like an electronic version.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Good idea. I think we could approve it since it's been amended in front of our eyes. And
Mike, do you want to make a motion?
I would move that we approve these financials for February 28th as amended and discussed with Marcus Runkel
23rd,
this meeting.
Mike, February 23rd.
Oh, I'm sorry. The summary sheet says February 28th.
Yeah.
We better correct that. We better correct that. Excuse me. I was just reading that date off of there.
Well,
Can
it
we
is
do that?
February 28th.
I was going off on what date did we have our meeting?
So it does, the date is irrelevant. The financial reports are prepared at the end of the month. So the one that you see on your screen, that's a reflection or an accounting of where the district was at on February 28, 2021.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
You
that's
don't need
good.
the date.
That's good. Thank you.
Okay, so Mike, we have a motion to approve the February financials. Do we have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Sue. All in favor signify by aye. Nay, opposed, nay. Celeste,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Erica,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
aye. The ayes have it. Do we have a motion for the, sorry, I'm losing my spot here.
January.
January minutes not minutes, financials.
I move that we approve the January 2021 financials.
Do we have a second?
I will second.
Thank you, Mike. All in favor signify aye, opposed nay. Celeste,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Erica,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on, old business. Skylar, you want to update the board on the elections?
Sure. So I know this has been fast developing over the last week, but just wanted to share a little bit more information about the special district election cycle. It looks like all 5 of you have registered to or declared for positions on the board, as well as 5 other candidates as well. So just provided a timeline or a simple timeline. The last day to file those candidate statements was yesterday. The last day to register to vote is April 27th, and the first day that the ballots are mailed out is April 28th. I am working with RJ from the Seaside Signal, and I think he's coordinating with AAUW to organize a opportunity for the 10 candidates to share some of their perspectives at a forum. And I believe the date is April 29th, which is a Thursday. I will confirm with him and make sure that you have that date and time. But that's all I have for you. Kind of an exciting time for the district.
And the forum, are we planning on in person?
I think at this point we'd be planning on an in-person as well as some sort of a broadcast to YouTube or Zoom or something like that.
Okay, thank you. New business. Celeste, do you want to add your items in real quick before the supplemental budget, or do you want to go at the end?
I'll go at the end.
Actually,
Okay.
Celeste, do you think we could possibly do that now? I just want to make sure that I can be here.
Okay. Well, one of the items was the public comment, so that'll get attached to the supplemental budget.
Right.
So the second piece was the second item that we added to the agenda was community engagement boards. And Erica, I think that was your piece that you were
Okay.
going to talk about.
Yeah, it was just following up on a suggestion I had made a while, maybe a month ago, about having community kind of boards or committees, however you want to call them, for each kind of pillar that we have within the strategic plan for the SRC. So, like, for example, if we were to look at sports tourism or, kind of more like the youth or rec activities, having, I guess, probably experts or stakeholders who are invested in those areas make up a board. And I think, make up a committee. And I think it would be great if a member of the staff, Skylar, could lead that, at least just kind of like project coordinating it. And then potentially having one member of the board sit on each of those 3 committees, and then one member of staff sit on each of those committees. And we probably need a limit in terms of how many people. But I think that it's something that probably the strategic, planners are going to need in terms of working with the community and getting in, their feedback. So I think it would be good if we could start that process now somehow.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make that motion and get it on record so that we can make sure to follow up on it.
I'm thinking, if we were to get a number of respondents, do we want to do interviews? Kind of like we do for the budget committee?
Hey, I don't know if we will need to do that. I think that there'll be very clear delegates within the community for each of these, just based on experience. But if other people want to chime in.
I've seen a committee or commission like this assembled, and I think we should check and ask staff to check to make sure it's in compliance with district policies. But I've seen actual slots assigned to represent different entities or populations. So for instance, you could have one slot for a parent of the child care program, for instance. So in other words, so we could designate certain slots or seats on the commission to be filled by folks by invitation.
Skylar, what are your thoughts on kind of having staff sit on those?
Yeah, I think that's great. I like the direction that Erica, I guess, introduced. I think my questions would be, does the board want to select their representative from the board ranks to serve on each of those 3 committees? And does the board want to give me a number of the ideal size of these groups so that we kind of have that in mind as we're working right now? And I guess
Yeah.
I was thinking about 5-ish, but I don't know if there are other thoughts.
I would
think
say 5 from the community, and then, sorry, Catherine, we're saying the same thing in unison. And then probably, but not including the board and staff.
So a total of 7, but 5
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
stakeholders, 1 board member, and 1 staff for each of the 3.
Yeah.
kind of colors. Okay.
Catherine sorry, I cut you off there.
No, you got it. That was what I was gonna say. 5 seems to be our number.
Okay.
And so could I form a motion then to direct staff with support from Erica to assemble community engagement boards for each of the 3 pillars of the board strategic plan?
Yes. Do we have a second?
I second.
Thanks, Sue. All in favor signify aye, opposed nay. Celeste,
Aye.
Mike,
You're muted, Mike.
you're muted.
Had some background noise, so I will support this motion. I will vote aye.
Thank you, Mike. Erica,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Erica and Celeste. Celeste, do you want to introduce your next one, or do you want to wait till the end of new business?
So the next item I think also will be quick. The piece that I'd asked to add to the agenda was to develop a board communications plan regarding the SRC. So my idea here is that I think the board should be doing, things are moving quickly and plans are taking place. And particularly, I love the idea of these community engagement boards. And I think we want to make sure that we're communicating out to the public the progress around SRC and to be able to talk about ways that the public can be involved. So I'm proposing that that we direct the staff to support a board member to develop a communications plan around SRC.
Skylar, is that something that maybe Melissa could work with a board member on?
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, usually, I guess I feel like the way Celeste worded it, maybe it was intentional, it was kind of reversed from what you would typically find, but I think in this case, it might be appropriate, and I'm happy to ask Melissa to participate with whomever the board would like to help with this.
And I think I would kind of prefer, because I think with this, we've been talking about this for a while, and obviously we've had a lot on our plate to deal with. And so I think we should try to move quickly. So I want to make a motion, I think, for Celeste, just with her background in communications, to be that person. You know, she's been one of the people leading on some of the other comms when we've needed something. So I'll make that motion for Celeste to be, if you would like, Celeste, if you're willing to do that. And then obviously, if we could try to move quickly on thinking about ways to get more information out.
So we have a motion from Celeste to have a board member work with staff on developing a communications plan regarding the SRC. Do we have a second for that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Thanks, Mike.
Erica, who made the motion.
Erica made the motion. Yep.
Well, Celeste started the motion and Erica made a separate motion to nominate Celeste.
Have more discussion.
All in favor signify aye, opposed nay. Celeste,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Erica,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
aye. Motion carries. So Erica made a motion to nominate Celeste for this committee to work with staff. I don't know that we necessarily need a motion on that. I think if
Yeah,
Celeste is willing.
Yeah, I was kind of making an overall motion. Definitely. I don't think so either.
All right, moving on. Supplemental budget, review and approve. Has everybody had a chance to review the supplemental budget? And hopefully ask their questions to Marcus and Skylar?
I have.
Thanks, Sue.
I would just like to say I appreciate the investment in staff time to
Yeah.
walk through some of the questions. That was super helpful.
Yeah, I appreciated meeting with Marcus and Skylar to review this. I think it is going to help the public cycle of information as well as they look at our budget.
And Catherine, we have the updated resolution, and I can share my screen. I know I sent it out a few minutes before the meeting, but I'm not sure if everyone got a chance to see
I have not seen the updated resolution.
a couple of changes. So if that's okay, I'll share that on the screen.
Thank you, Skylar.
Yeah.
So is there any further discussion regarding the supplemental budget, or do we want to approve?
Well, don't we have to allow the community to comment?
Oh, yes, I forgot.
We're going to allow some public comment on it.
Yes.
I cannot see the whole page. Where is the change?
So the change, Mike, is at the top. You'll have a bigger explanation right here where my cursor is, and it talks about the need for the supplemental budget.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
And then the other change that was made was fixing the spelling of the board chairperson's name. We had misspelled it.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
It's an atrocity.
And then we had found that we had transposed one of the numbers. I think it was one of these ones, and it said 107 instead of 170. So I believe that was the extent of the changes, right, Marcus?
Yes, I believe that was the extent of those changes.
Is there any further board discussion for the supplemental budget, or we will open it up to the public? All right, Skylar, can you do the 3-minute timer and start public comment?
Yeah, 1 second, please.
Thank you.
If there are folks that would like to offer public comment about the supplemental budget, please identify yourself.
Al Hernandez.
Anyone else? Okay, 1 second, and I will get the 3-minute timer. Okay, I'll go ahead when you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I had basically two questions. I'll go to the first one. In the supplemental budget, as was spoken a little bit earlier, you mentioned you had about $325,000 of revenue as a result of the excess money from the loan to purchase the Broadway Middle School, which is fine. But my question is this: how do you generate revenue from getting a loan? Shouldn't the journal entry have been cash and note payable and not hit revenues at all? I'm trying to understand how you came up with that $325,000 in revenue when it shouldn't be in revenue. It should be strictly a balance sheet item. So I would like to have that talked about a little bit at least so I can understand that, because right now I'm baffled where that number comes from and how it's being recorded. My other question was this: on the $2.5 million loan payable, since you're on an accrual basis, shouldn't you be accruing interest payable on it? So for 6 months or 4 months, I'm assuming it's going to be around $14,000, $15,000. Yet I don't see it as an expense anywhere on your supplemental budget. I mean, those are the two basic questions I have. I really didn't have a lot of time to review it closely or look at it, but the $325,000 item just sticks out on me really oddly, and I don't understand how it is revenue. So if somebody could answer that question, I'd be really grateful. Thank you.
Thanks, Al.
And do we have time for board discussion? again?
Yeah.
We open up. So I would just like to tell the board, and thank you, Al, for your note, because I also asked the same question about this. And apparently we sought guidance from our accounting firm that it was correct to actually list, because I am unfamiliar with listing loan proceeds as a revenue category piece. That would not normally be how I would look at books. But apparently because of how this loan came in, and because it was excess funds, my understanding is that it was excess funds over and above the cost of the purchase itself. That was how we were advised to characterize it on our books by the accountant. Because I had this very same question.
And Marcus, is there anything that you want to add on top of that? I know you've answered this question from a couple of the directors, as Celeste said.
No, I think Celeste summarized it pretty well in that because of how what the amount encompasses, and that how the loan process worked, that we do have to count it as revenue. And we did seek outside guidance to clarify that specifically, and I got multiple communications from them to verify that that was correct.
I think one other, might as well just address, because I think the interest question has come up multiple times and might as well just be addressed, Marcus or Skylar.
Well, and I would anticipate, because we don't have any, and I don't know, I'm not an accountant, so I don't know this for sure, but I would anticipate seeing that hit a balance sheet, because we actually aren't due to make any payments on interest during this year.
Well,
We're doing
exactly.
it the payable,
Yeah.
but not actually, it wouldn't actually hit as an expense per se until next year.
Right.
I don't know if that's right, Marcus, or not, but that's what I would.
You are correct. And
Oh.
With us not having any payments, including interest payments, we did not add anything yet, because right now we just want to ensure that we are showing the actual loan itself.
So Skylar,
You're an accrual.
Can you hear me?
entity, so you should record it.
Yeah, we can hear you, but I think the public comment time has ended. I don't know if.
yeah, I'm sorry, but I apparently didn't, I wasn't on the speaker, and I tried to get in to indicate that I wanted to speak at the supplemental budget.
Okay, do you want your 3 minutes, Robert?
Yeah, I don't think I'll need 3 minutes, but one thing I want to comment on terms of Al's question. Certainly, he's right from the standpoint of a balance sheet item, but the loan is part of the local budget process of where you have to budget that money in the revenue expense portion of the budget, where then you're going to have an offsetting appropriation. So that is a requirement under state law to show that, as it has been shown by the district staff. The other thing that I would just suggest, and I think that you did a nice job in amending that resolution, that the only other thing I would suggest in terms of that is that you change that resolution title to a supplemental budget rather than approving the budget. You slip in the word supplemental with the budget. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you. And thank you for the time and the interruption.
No worries. This Zoom stuff is all new. So Skylar, real quick. So I'm looking at a resolution that you had sent out earlier. Did you send out another one with the updated wording?
I did, yeah. So the one that you have on your screen right now, oh, sorry.
Because
Can I
the
make-
one that I see at 5 does not look like the one that you have.
Yeah, this is the most recent one and the one that we need you to adopt. And you may want to consider what Robert just said. Instead of saying adopting the budget, you say resolution and then the resolution number and then supplemental budget. And
Okay,
this has this need right here that I'm highlighting on the screen is what was added in the most recent edit. It provides the reasoning, the motivation for this supplemental budget, and then it also has the correct spelling name down at the bottom.
that was the most important part.
I agree. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Can you,
Robert's comment on adopting the budget. I think saying supplemental budget makes perfect sense. I was too busy looking at numbers.
well, and I see that it says supplemental budget multiple times below. It was
It
just.
it sure does. Yeah, it
top.
does. It does. It does, in fact.
So
Okay,
I'm prepared to read this resolution, make a motion and read this resolution into the motion if,
Hang on one sec. My fault. Go ahead.
so I move that we adopt resolution number 2020-2021-03 titled supplemental budget. Be it resolved that the board of directors of the Sunset Empire Park and Recreation District hereby adopts the supplemental budget for fiscal year 2020 to 2021 in the amount of $3,716,508. The need for this supplemental budget is a result to the acquisition of additional property that has generated a need for an additional fund to be developed. The purpose of the supplemental is to allow expenses associated with the new fund and reallocation of existing category revenue and expenses to appropriately depict the need and projected outcomes as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. This budget is now on file at district offices, 1140 Broadway in Seaside, Oregon. Making appropriations, be it resolved that the amounts shown below are hereby appropriated for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020 for the following purposes. General fund, administrative services, $640,411, maintenance, $325,375, aquatic services, $506,600, recreation services, $106,304, youth program services, $464,390, community center services, $102,582, special events services, $74,772, debt service, $6,500, transfers, $237,000, contingency, $50,000 for a total of $2,513,934, Sunset Recreation Center, personnel, $4,484, material and supplies, $78,100, capital outlay, $18,642, debt service 0, contingency $10,000 for a total for Sunset Recreation Center of $111,226. Park project fund, personnel 0, capital outlay 0, debt service 0, contingency 0 for a total of $0 for the park project fund. The building additions fund, personnel at 0, capital outlay 0, debt service 0, contingency 0 for a total of $0 for the building additions fund. Broadway field, personnel of $12,886, materials and supplies, $13,514, capital outlay 0, debt service 0, contingency 0, for a total of $26,400 for Broadway field, for a total appropriations of all funds of $2,651,561. The total unappropriated and reserve amount, all funds, $1,064,947 for a total adopted budget of $3,716,508. And that the above resolution statements were approved and declared and adopted on March 23rd, 2021 by Catherine Parker, Board Chairperson, and Michael Hinton, Secretary.
thank you, Celeste. Do we have a second?
Happily second that. It was a good job, Celeste.
Thank you, Mike. All in favor signify by aye, opposed nay. Celeste,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Erica,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you to everyone who worked so diligently on putting that together. I know that was a big lift and I think you did a great job, so appreciate the work. The dissolve the SEPRD Park Fund. So everybody had a chance to review there was a notice. Skylar, what page was that?
Page 63.
There it is.
Sorry, Skylar, what page did you say?
Sorry,
63.
page 63.
63, okay.
I reviewed this. And do we need to read it in?
Yes, starting at the resolution there, Mike.
But I will move we accept this resolution 2021-05. Whereas the district has no current assets or liabilities in the quote park fund, nor do they have plans to add assets or liabilities in the future. Now, therefore, be it resolved by Sunset Empire Park and Recreation District that the SEPRD Park Fund be fully dissolved by SEPRD staff. I think there's a typo there where it says by fully.
Yeah, you're correct.
Fully.
I'm seeing that now. It should be fully dissolved. Thank you.
If we could amend that before we sign it, that would be pretty. Adopted by the Board of Directors this 23rd day of March, 2021. Board President Catherine Parker will sign. And
Thank you,
attested
Mike.
by Skylar.
I'll second.
Thank you, Celeste. All in favor, signify aye. Opposed, nay. Celeste,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Erica,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
aye. Motion carries. Thank you, guys. SEPRD Employee Handbook. Has everybody had a chance to review the employee handbook updates? 65.
Over, that's quite a few amendments to the handbook. Quite a handy job, a big undertaking. But it looks in order to me.
Sorry, I know I'm probably going to be like the HR person here, but I just had a couple things that I was hoping maybe I could support with just in terms of like how things are worded. And I don't think we need to get into them because they're just like small kind of language things, but I think they would be more helpful and clear. So if that's something that either Marcus or you would be interested in, just let me know.
Definitely. Maybe, yeah, we can use your expertise. I'm all for that. Thank you.
I mean, it would be really quick too, Skylar. I think the majority of it is just at the beginning with some of the exempt versus non-exempt pieces. So.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like I struggle with that as well, or it's obvious probably in my writing of it. So forgive me. And yeah.
No. No, like I get what you're saying. I just was thinking you could separate it and make it a little more clear. So.
Sure.
I did notice that the AED locations did not include the SRC at this time on page 51 of the employee manual.
Yeah, that's a reflection of how long this has taken us to bring the employee handbook before you, because when we started the changes, we didn't have plans to purchase the SRC. So I mean, this has literally been 6 months or so in the making, or more. So we will add those in, and I don't think that represents a substantive change. But thank you.
If I could ask a question, though, I'm impressed to see the generous benefit for employees to have, to do a swim as a workout. And I trust, based on some past comments, public comments, I believe, there was some criticism of employees using the pool for lap swim during a time when they felt the public should be using the pool. Is that really an issue, or has that all been resolved?
Mike, I followed up with our, well, he used to be our aquatics and recreation manager, Justin, about that. And he said that to his knowledge, that's never happened. And generally our aquatic staff really has no desire to take away a swimming opportunity for a patron. There are times when our lifeguards especially need to swim, need to be in the water. And because of the break schedule, they may have a small window of time that they have each day to get their physical activity or their required training for swims in. So, but we don't have a practice of employees swimming instead of our patrons.
I would not have thought so. Anyway, I just thought it would be worthy to discuss since it was kind of in the employee handbook today.
Sure.
And I have another curiosity. Having worked at the hospital for many years, I never saw first aid and AED locations in the handbook, but we always included fire extinguishers as well. And so I was just more surprised that this was actually in the book. And if it needs to be there, perhaps the fire extinguishers should be listed as well.
Yeah, that seems appropriate to me. I'm fine with adding fire extinguishers. Mainly, Sue, I think our hope is just to get those locations and that information to our employees in several different ways. By no means is this the only time that we talk about AED or first aid locations, but we're kind of trying to just understand that it takes a lot of repetition and feeding them the same information multiple times for them to recall it when they have an emergency.
I'm pleased to say, I don't know what your paid holidays were previously, but I'm pleased to see the inclusion of Indigenous Peoples Day, particularly in recognition of the classic lands that we sit on, and Juneteenth, which I think, given racial tensions and the fight for racial justice in our country, it's important to recognize that as a holiday. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, those are both new additions to this version of the handbook, but they were brought forward by our EDI committee, and I think it's really appropriate that we have those opportunities to, I guess, reflect and think about other experiences and other people. And yeah, appreciate that, Celeste. Thank you.
Skylar, is that exit interview, is that actually in the handbook?
It is, yeah. It's in the appendix of the handbook. It's
Okay.
new. It's new this year, though. I mean, we've had informal exit interview processes, but this formalizes it and places a more solid requirement on the supervisor to complete the exit interview with each employee that departs.
Oh, okay. So the supervisors, because I guess one thing I was wondering is it reads like a survey. It reads like more of the employee completing it. And I just actually wonder if that might be a little bit better. Like if you are going to have kind of like a survey model, I think you might get more information from the person if they just filled it out by themselves.
Yeah, I think that might be a component that we add in, but
Okay.
I feel really, I guess, strongly about having that opportunity for the employee and supervisor to connect one time before they depart. And I kind of wanted to make it super simple for the supervisor to just be able to check boxes or circle things that were applicable in each situation. But yeah, I can understand that. I think I actually kind of summarized exit interviews from a couple of other park and recreation agencies, and one of them does use an online survey format. So maybe that's part of what you're seeing.
Yeah, I mean, from my experience, a lot of times the supervisor may be part of the reason for a person leaving. I mean, I would say sometimes half of the people I interview would say that. So it just may be uncomfortable, I think, for the person to.
Yeah, we have had some of that too, as most workplaces do. And I think we tried to list some instructions or reminders that it might be not appropriate for the supervisor to have this exit interview. And in that case, the district staff management team will work to find an appropriate person to have the interaction with.
Yeah, or what you could do is just leave this as is, have them fill it out, and you could just maybe do a more simplified version for the supervisor to
Okay.
talk to. But yeah, I just I just was wondering, because I know that especially if you're wanting to like easily kind of understand like retention rates or why people are leaving, it might be better if it was just like in a Survey Monkey or something where you can analyze it and pull the data easier.
Okay, that's really good feedback. Thank you.
Any other, go ahead, Skylar.
Well, I was just gonna just note a couple other things that I think are, I guess, worthy of your time. Hopefully, added a classification under administrative time. So this was a little bit of a gray area in our work environment, but provides an accounting mechanism to reconcile employees that are exempt, that are working over 40 hours a week, to accumulate some admin time, which is different from comp time or overtime. And that will be accounted for. Currently, it'll be accounted for using a spreadsheet, but in our new software, I think we'll have the opportunity to account for it on the employee's pay stub and in that within that system. A couple other things I think that are really important. We changed in the previous handbook, it said smoking instead of tobacco, but kind of added other forms of tobacco, as we know, that are prevalent. And then the last thing is the district added a third party, I guess, or added a component to their open door policy. It's one of the last changes, and it adds information for employees to contact a third party to report concerns about HR or grievances or ethical concerns. That's something that we didn't have in place. And I know that this board had a great conversation a few months ago about adding something like that. So we've arranged to contract with an external HR firm called HR Answers, and they do a lot of work with special districts. So this information will be available to all employees. They can reach out via email or phone to this third party and share concerns. And I'm hoping that we don't get a lot, obviously, because but at least it's a great option if an employee didn't feel comfortable talking to their supervisor or to me.
I think that's great. Does, not being super familiar with that company, do they provide any other HR services, or is it just the hotline?
Well, they provide a full plethora of HR services. So kind of using this opportunity to sort of gauge out their customer service and some other components. And I think in the future, it may be that we use them for more or use a similar firm.
Is this something that they could review the handbook and offer feedback?
Definitely could.
I mean, I'm also just happy to volunteer just a bit of time. I really think that it's pretty solid. There's just a couple pieces. So Skylar, when a person would make a complaint to HR Answers, I mean, that part would remain anonymous, but then what happens, I guess, because, who are they going to then report it to, and how would it be investigated?
Yeah, so we've set it up with HR Answers where if a complaint is made, HR Answers typically will get in touch with myself. I've also listed in our contract Marcus's contact information as well as the board president's information. So I had a conversation with HR Answers and kind of trust that they would use their judgment. I guess at the point were about me, then it would not come to me. If it was about Marcus, then it would not come to him. And
Right.
I suppose if it was about the board or a board member, it would come to me and not to the board president.
Okay.
I would just like to comment about HR answers. I think that it's a good idea to outsource that contact like that, but I'm very familiar with this organization, and Judy Clark, who is one of the main principal of that, has done many, many trainings for SDAO. And I find her, I just never want to miss her sessions. There is always something there to learn, and a lot of interesting questions get asked. If you get a chance to go to any of her trainings, or if you have already had it, I'm sure you can appreciate it like I do.
That's great to know. Any further discussion on the employee handbook?
I just agree that HRA is a very good idea, and I'm glad to see that included.
Well, I guess actually, because last workshop we did talk about you using Cascade Employers Association. So, I mean, I know that the HR Answers is for the kind of like hotline for, complaints, but were you still looking into the Cascade Employer?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm kind of don't feel like I can make a decision right now.
Gotcha.
Our current budget and where we're at. But I think probably within the next 6 months to a year, we'll probably choose from one of those two providers, or maybe a different provider that is yet to be identified.
Okay.
So Erica, do you feel that we can approve this, or are the changes that you are suggesting things that we need to approve next month?
I'll leave it up to Skylar. I mean, I just think there's some things to make it a little bit stronger in terms of legally, but I'll leave that up to Skylar. Because I think we could approve it now and then also amend it next month. So
yeah.
Whatever Skylar thinks is like most beneficial for the staff right now.
Thoughts, Skylar?
Yeah, I guess I'd prefer to just have it be approved once. So I think maybe I'll work with Erica over the next month and bring any additional, maybe we can approve these changes, and then Erica and I, or I can bring the changes that we work on.
That's true, because it wouldn't be this full thing. So why don't we go ahead and approve, and then we'll just bring a few amendments.
If that's okay. Yeah, I think that
Okay.
works for me.
Yeah, sorry, Skylar, I don't. I wanted to just kind of help you a little bit there, but
Yeah, I appreciate it.
okay.
So do we have a motion?
I motion to approve the employee handbook. Do we need a date?
I would say the 2021.
The 2021 employee handbook for SEPRD.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Celeste. All in favor signify aye, opposed nay. Celeste?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Erica?
Aye.
Sue?
I guess I'm confused.
Well, we're gonna approve what's here now, and then Erica and Skylar are gonna work on making just a few changes, and then they'll come back to us next month with just the few little changes.
And Skylar, you're going to add the SRC placement for the AEDs, and that includes the Providence gifts and the fire extinguishers, right? Okay.
Yep.
All right. I approve that. Thank you.
All right, aye, motion carries. Thank you, Skylar, and probably Marcus for your hard work on that.
You're welcome.
Budget committee appointments. First, I would like to say how grateful we are for the fact that we had so many people turn out to interview for the budget committee. we had 3 spots and we had 5 candidates. So that was great to see. And we appreciated their time and commitment to the district. Does anybody have any discussion around that, or can we go ahead and make a motion?
I would like to make nominations.
Go ahead, Mike.
I would like to nominate Tracy McDonald, Norman Brown, and Robert Gazewood to be appointed to our budget committee.
Thank you, Mike. Do we have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Sue. All in favor signify aye, opposed nay. Celeste?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Erica?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you so much to those members that are gonna join our budget committee. Executive Director report.
Thank you. Yeah, just a reminder about the budget committee. We will be having our first budget committee meeting next month. Our board meeting will be on April 27th, which is the 4th Tuesday of April. And then the board decided to have their budget committee meeting at 7 p.m. Both of those are scheduled to be in-person meetings, assuming that that works for everybody and we stay in either low or moderate risk. But just wanted to remind the board and those that will be serving on the budget committee of that timeline. I have a few updates that I wanted to share. First off, the district is still working really hard to provide programming during this time of COVID. I think that I guess not a day goes by where I'm not impressed with the hard work of staff in ensuring that we're providing a safe environment for our patrons. And I just am really proud of the work that our staff is doing to keep people safe and to keep people positive. And it's been really uplifting. I still believe that we're one of the few recreation providers, park and recreation districts or recreation agencies in the state that has been open almost the whole time and trying to provide that high level of service. The pool is still doing really well. Our lap swim and other aquatic programs have maintained about an 85 to 90% participation rate, which I think is really great. We are happy to be bringing back swim lessons, not for April, but at the 1st of May, we'll be bringing back those programs and working on bringing back some other things or starting some other things up as we're able to. In regards to the SRC, I just have a couple of updates to share. The staff has been working this week on transitioning all of the youth programs of the district over to that facility. So starting next Monday, we'll be able to have 2 preschool classrooms in the classrooms over there, as well as our kindergarten classroom, and then 2 classrooms that are dedicated for that 1st through 5th grade population that we're serving with wraparound programming during non-school district hours. So it's been kind of a fun challenge working with the school district schedule of who's going when and which days they're going. But I think our staff is doing a great job, and it'll be really cool to see our robust preschool be able to be in those new spaces to them and have a little bit more space to stretch their legs and be able to use some of the other parts of the building, like the cafeteria and the gym space, to move around a little bit easier on those wet days. Additionally, I wanted to share that Melissa Ousley has been working hard on applying for a grant from OHSU. And that's the grant is intended to provide funding for helping communities do programs or services that will help prevent the spread of cancer. So there's a lot of research that ties cancer with other health conditions such as obesity, lack of mobility, diabetes, those types of things. So Melissa has worked really hard. We worked with Providence, and she used her research and writing skills, put them to the test to apply for a grant from OHSU, and we're hoping to hear back soon, and that grant would provide some funding to increase fitness programming in the right time and in the right way at the SRC. We have decided at this time not to move fitness programming over to the SRC, but we would like to use some of the space over there and grow our dryland fitness programming in the coming period of time. And then I also wanted to share, and Celeste or Mike may share this as well, but we've been working with the Klosh Group, and we are nearly completed with the RFP for the consulting services group. And that RFP will hopefully be out, I think, within the next few days, maybe week or so. And then there's a timeline that's been created after that. It's going to be a great process. I'm looking forward to it. We don't have the chance to do a lot of RFPs as a small special district, but I think this will be great. And what an awesome project that this consultant or consulting team will get to work with the district on. A couple other updates for me. I have the review for the executive director update. I know we've talked about that at several workshops over the past few months, and I just wanted to confirm with the board or state, I guess, the timeline as I understand it, that we would start that review in April, which would be at the next board meeting. I don't know if we need to go to executive session for that, but then the review would be completed in our May board meeting. And I'm excited to fulfill some of those tasks that the board has asked me to. But if there are other items that you'd like me to prepare for or share with you in terms of my performance, I'm happy to do that. So just I'm hoping to stay kind of pretty connected over the next couple of months so that that process goes smooth and I can facilitate, you know, a great experience. It just is a lot easier, I think, for all of us when we know how that process is going to go and what you need in order to complete that process. A couple other just announcements for me, or just updates. We have a few special events that are coming up. We have our spring egg hunt, which will be on Saturday, April 3rd, the day before Easter. And we are doing kind of a hybrid egg hunt this year. Last year, we did just giveaway bags where people drove up and had an opportunity to do their own egg hunt. This year, we decided, with the guidance of where we're at currently, we're able to do an egg hunt. It'll be small, and we've targeted the egg hunt to our younger population. So we'll have a couple of opportunities for those in the 0 to 6-year-olds in our community to participate in the egg hunt. Wanted to kind of give the younger children an opportunity to have that traditional egg hunt experience, but we'll also be providing some egg bags for the folks that are older than that or want to just do their own thing in their own yard or at a park somewhere. And we have a wonderful volunteer from the community that is going to dress up as our bunny, and an opportunity for COVID safe pictures to occur with that volunteer. So lots of really cool things that particular day. A couple other events coming up on Saturday, April 17th is our partnership with United Way of Clatsop County. We're going to do a day of caring service project at the Railroad Gardens alongside the highway there, and looking forward to doing some great work with the fencing and distributing some bark chips and some other work. So if you're free that day, I can get you more information, but encourage you to come on, again, Saturday, April 17th. And then the last special event I wanted to share was about 6 weeks from now, we'll have our prom 100K Centennial Run. So celebrating 100 years of the prom, partnering with great folks throughout the city. And this is kind of a really, I think, a fun, unique event where runners can form teams of 2 to 6 people and run 100K, which is about 62 miles on the prom throughout the night. And grateful for the work of Melissa and for the Prom Centennial Committee and the City of Seaside for supporting this special event. But we've gotten some great feedback and participation or registration so far, and sponsorship from local businesses. So I think it'll be a really fun and unique event. Probably not something that we'll do every year, but a fun one-time event. This isn't on my list, but the last thing I want to share is that we do have opportunities We're hiring 2 full-time positions in youth programs and in aquatics. So if the board has staff that they'd like, or not staff, but potential candidates they'd like to recommend, I would be happy to have you share the details of this job with your networks, and hoping for a great applicant pool. Just posted those jobs a couple days ago, and then we'll be moving forward on the hiring process after that. Madam President, that's my update. I don't know
Thank
if
you.
anybody has questions, but thank
I have a
you.
question.
Meeting.
Go ahead, Mike.
What is the cost of the Centennial Run?
It's $50 per runner
Oh, boy, per or walker?
or walker, but
How
that
do we walk? How
I
do
was
we
gonna
walk
say-
that far in a night?
what's that?
How do we walk that far in a night?
You would, we'll keep the prom open for you, Mike, until you finish. You would probably want to have some teams, because that's, what is that, 20 laps or 21 laps for a single person. But yeah, we'll keep the prom open. And I should note that the $50 includes a breakfast voucher at a local breakfast restaurant that is also helping sponsor the event. So kind of, and a great shirt. So it's a pretty good deal, I think, all things considered.
So there are walking teams you can register?
Yes, you can register as a walking team. I don't know if we have any walking teams registered, but we are open to that and offering that as an option.
Cool.
Oh, you never know. I might give it a shot.
Yeah,
Well,
maybe the board can form a team.
my surgeon said no running, so I can walk.
You could walk, you could roll, you could, yeah,
I can't run, but
you got options.
my back won't let me do some things. It sounds really interesting. I'd like to ask about the April 17th garden cleanup. I'm looking forward to that. I'm personally a gardener at the Railroad Gardens, and I appreciate the partnership that's been formed to help accomplish the work there, make some improvements. I also wanted to mention, well, I'll mention it in my board comment, but I'm really grateful for the work that the district's able to do and help spend some of that money the gardens have over there with the foundation. So thank you.
Skylar, for the United Way Day of Caring, is there an age limit for volunteers?
That's a great question, Catherine. I don't know if there is. I can speak from my personal experience when we've had it in the past. I've brought my children and they've been fine. There's a kind of an electronic method of signing up, and I can send that out to the board as an option. So that may include some more information.
That would be great. Thank you.
Yep.
I could volunteer for the egg hunt if there's anything I can do.
Sure. Yeah, there's always, we always need volunteers, especially this year with some of the COVID modifications that we're going to put in place to try to keep people safe. So I will have Melissa, our marketing and special events manager, reach out to you, Mike.
Me too.
Mike, I thought that was going to be you in the Easter Bunny outfit.
Well, I mean, there could be some options there if any of the directors want to give that a shot.
I could do bunnies. Might be good, you know, it might keep me warm.
I'm fully vaccinated.
Anything else for you, Skylar?
No, ma'am.
All right. And I think we pretty much covered all the upcoming calendar items. Spring Egg Hunt, April 3rd, United Way Day of Caring, Community Garden Project, April 17th, SEPRD Board and Budget Committee meeting, first one, April 27th, the SEPRD Candidate Forum, potentially April 29th, the Prom 100K Centennial Run Walk, May 14th through the 15th, and the SCPRD Board and Budget Committee meeting on May 25th. Moving us right along to board comment. So we'll start with Celeste.
So I just want to, first of all, boy, what a packed agenda today, and great job in moving us through it, Catherine. Thank you for your leadership on our board. I appreciate it. And I also just want to give a shout out to the rest of my fellow board members for, I know that in order to sort of get this much stuff done, I want to recognize how much time folks are volunteering between our public board meetings. Mike, I know that you've been involved with all the SRC planning, the strategic planning pieces. Erica, I know that you're assisting with some of the HR stuff and talking to staff about that. And also I'm super excited about the community engagement pieces that you're looking at. And Sue, I know that you do a fantastic job at your due diligence and traveling down to the pool to the district offices to review all the materials in our packets, because there's so much. So just want to give a shout out to the fellow board members for how much time folks are putting in, and a thank you to our awesome staff, because I know this was a heavy lift to get the supplemental out, and in addition to be keeping things going and as open as possible at the district. And I'm super impressed. So thank you.
Thank you, Celeste. Mike?
Well, I'm also very appreciative of all the work staff has done, and appreciate all of the good partners I have here on the board. I think there's a lot of leadership here. I would like to mention another aspect of April the 17th, which is going to be a cleanup day for the gardens, as well as there's going to be a beach cleanup. But there's also another event that's very important to me. That is on April 17th, and that's over at the Mill Ponds. And that is an Art in the Park Day. And that is a kind of not an official city event, but we have Mary Blake and some other hard workers there who are Nancy Holmes from the Seaside Parks Advisory Committee, Pam Beerley, others. But right now there's a fundraiser being organized for the 17th. So I think the 17th is going to be a busy day, between the gardens and the beach and the mill ponds. A lot of community engagement there, a lot of fun things to do. I know the COVID is still going on. The vaccinations seem to be going well. I've been working at the vaccine clinics at the fairgrounds and at the high schools. I've been trying to keep my schedule loose so that I don't miss any meetings that pop up that we need to have for the Park District. Park District is a priority. I don't know of any other real news. I thank everyone. Thank Catherine.
Thanks, Mike. Erica?
Yeah, I just think today what's kind of important for me is just the positivity that the board has. I think, we've kind of been through a lot in a very short period of time as a group, and everyone's really maintained a lot of positivity and collaboration, a spirit of collaboration, which I really appreciate, because I think that's exactly what our community really needs right now. And particularly as I think the other piece that I find really amazing is the strategic approach that we're, collectively wanting to take, as it relates to the SRC. I think it would be very easy for us to jump into a lot of different, proposals that are coming our way and different things, but we're really maintaining that strategic approach and waiting to make sure we have a clear plan. So I really think that's, I just feel like working with other people who kind of see that as important is great. And I think the only other thing is, I think there was a question earlier from a member of the public around whether we engaged the Klosh group. And I'm not sure if people remember, but they've been on all of our kind of planning meetings. So prior to the purchase, they were the main group advising us. So that was prior to the purchase, and it was, their I guess their engagement and the advice they were giving was super important. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you, Erica. Sue?
Well, I think I agree. I mirror the sentiments that have been said. I am so grateful basically for Marcus and Skylar working with me, because I always have 100 questions about each budget, and I appreciate the patience. I appreciate the teamwork that went in to produce all these facets, and I appreciate that Marcus had to rewrite a spreadsheet, which is why some things look different. And I know that's tedious and difficult, and I appreciate his flexibility in doing that. I appreciate so much the positivity that goes on regarding the way we five work together. And I realize we're all up for a reelection, and all of us have people that are also interested in being on the board. So I'm looking forward to that being something where we can actually communicate what we do to some of the people that may not be aware, and show what a good team that we have. And I know there's been a lot of concern about how things, what happened in the last year. And I look forward to being able to promote that positivity and the teamwork and the collaboration to move us forward in 2021, as we promote the activities we do in the community, as we promote the fact that we want to provide the mission and vision statement of our of Sunset Empire, that now includes Sunset Recreation Center. I'm very grateful to the people that have signed up to run for election, because it allows you an opportunity, allows us an opportunity and them an opportunity, and the people can choose. So I think democracy is a good thing. I'm excited about what the district is offering. I am very grateful for the staff that, because I'm in the pool about 10 hours a week, I am so grateful for the quality of staff interactions that I see, and the work that I see done to promote protecting people, even as COVID is still present, that people are understanding there are things we need to still do to keep safe. So I want to just be very grateful for all of those things from my board comment.
Thank you, Sue. For my board comment, I would just like to thank Skylar and Marcus for the very hard work on the supplemental budget, getting that done in a timely manner. I know that that was a huge ask, and we appreciate the diligence on that and getting that done. I also would like to thank all the staff for all their hard work and being flexible and coming to work with positivity and just making sure that everybody has an amazing experience and has the opportunity to come and swim and keep the childcare programs going, all the things that Parks and Rec has done for this community. And I truly, truly, truly appreciate every single one of my board members. It's been an amazing experience working with all of you collaboratively and in a very respectful and positive way. So I appreciate every one of you. And with that, I will say meeting adjourned. Everybody have a great night.
Have fun on vacation, you two.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sue.